So what's your goal this season then?
Diamond will
Okay.
be the goal.
Yeah, I mean it's not too far away. I guess your LP gains or they definitely seem to be slowing down, but that's just normal, right? This account was in bronze, so you'll just have to accept that, I guess. Like if you actually feel like your MMR is starting to really hold you back, then you could even make a new account. And like when you make new accounts and you just have this really good win rate, then the MMR doesn't get fucked as easily. But yeah, I mean, it should still be possible even with a somewhat negative MMR. I mean, there's still a lot of time in this season, anyways, and like the MMR obviously, after you've been like, let's call it stuck, then the MMR also will get better again after some time. So I think the focus shouldn't really be so much on the rank; it should just be more on improving, and then the ranks will come by themselves. Okay, so what do you think at the moment your biggest weakness is?
Mm, I would say that I'm autopiloting a lot these days, like last week. For
Okay,
example, last week, if you look at my like OPGG, I was hard stuck plat one for like 5 days for I don't know.
I don't think you can call
And
that hard stuck. I really don't think, or I really don't think you should call that hard stuck. Like, it's
I
just
mean,
normal.
I
Sometimes
was
you hit
like
bumps.
I wasn't like able to climb, but not because I
Hmm.
was playing like super bad, because I was like thinking through what I was doing, and I was saying like I shouldn't, because I'm playing with my duo with just hit diamond, by the way. And so like I'm saying what I shouldn't done, and right after like 2 minutes I'm doing what I just said that I shouldn't do.
Hmm.
And like I'm thinking but just not thinking at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, I know the feeling 100%. And that's usually when I personally also struggle the most. Of course, when I feel like I know what I need to do, and then you just still, for some reason, you just don't do it. And yeah, like the only fix to that is, of course, to just get better at not, or like getting better at listening to yourself, I guess. Which is just sometimes difficult, I guess. Um, like
Of
for me,
course.
like outside of league influence makes such a big difference there. Like it really does. Like being able to listen to myself in game. I don't know if you can relate to that, but
Mm.
it's definitely a thing. So sometimes you just need to accept that there's going to be difficulty. But I think overall, like I guess we'll see, of course, how you where you're at the moment skill wise. I will be able to judge that. But I think generally you're Emerald 3 right now. That's really not that far away from Diamond, so it should for sure be reachable by the end of the season. What are like some specific situations you maybe struggle in?
So like 2 weeks ago, my goal was just to hit emerald, because I thought that's the diamond is not gonna happen. Like I was hard stuck gold for like months like before, but then I started playing with my friend who was just like way better than me in like emerald 2, I think. And I started playing with him, and he just made me see that I'm not that bad. I'm not like I'm way better than like not just a hard stuck gold than of an average emerald player, because like yeah, I just see a guy in my last game, he died 70 times and just still has insane win rate. I don't know, but like, and that made me like, I need to hit diamond to like
Hmm.
actually, you know.
You know, let me tell you, it won't change. Like nothing will change. Every elo is like I'm just being really like it's not gonna. You probably won't feel fulfilled as soon as you hit diamond. Like let me tell you that already. You need to be able to play the game and enjoy playing the game and not have these like goals and only put so much value on that because that's how you also because like that's the biggest agony you can have in league is just like setting these goals and then especially when you're not able to reach them it like you'll get really tilted on this kind of stuff and like there's no point, there's really no point. Like emerald is not a great rank to achieve, diamond is neither, master is neither. Like sure, if you're a challenger player you can probably be proud of yourself, but like all of these ranks below there is a lot of it really just comes down to playing the game for a long amount of time. Like, of course, if you actually feel fulfilled, then that's great, you know. But I think most people really don't. And like I myself, whenever I've reached those points, or if you ever feel fulfilled by it, it's just for a very short amount of time, in my experience at least. Like, it actually was the same for you, right? Like, you reached Emerald, and then it maybe made you happy for a day or something. But now you're already saying, well, I need to reach Diamond, and obviously it's fine to have goals, but I think you really should not put so much value on ranks. Like already with the way you're talking to me here and like mentioning ranks all the time, whatever. It seems to me that this is something that is probably way too important to you, and like it's not a healthy thing to put so much importance on ranks. Like it really isn't. And I also struggle with that sometimes myself. I'm not gonna try to talk to you here from like an above position, but it's like sometimes I also care too much, and then that's usually when I start playing worse, you know. So I think the best way is really to try and learn to not care that much and just enjoy playing the game and enjoy maybe improving this kind of stuff. So it's just advice that I can give you, but of course we're still gonna focus on just your gameplay and this kind of stuff. What are like maybe some bad habits or like mistakes you've noticed in your gameplay?
Like the autopiloting I mentioned before.
Yeah,
That's
as you
one.
said.
Second thing would be that I don't know a lot of champions like detailed abilities. Like for
Okay.
example, I know that for example some champion can stun me for I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, but I don't know the CD like what how for how long for like in what duration. So like when does it come back up again? Or
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, that is
Like
definitely a pretty big weakness, but like as I'm always saying, there's only one way to fix that. Or either the way is to just accept that you're playing with less information and like you're probably gonna learn it over time, or you just if you're actually serious about improving, you just put in the work, look up the champions where you're unsure, and then like obviously you don't have to do it one at a time, you know, but like every time maybe you feel like you didn't really know, like just maybe get into the habit. Every time you got fucked by a champ, and like you were like, I really don't know what this champ does. Then you just look at the LoL wiki for 5 minutes. You know what the champ does, and then next time you're gonna have a better time. You know. I think that's like unless you're actually like really determined to learn, then I think just look at all the champs really quick. Like not really quick. It might take you like maybe 2 3 hours, but like then you'll have it done. And sure, you might not remember all of it, but you'll at least have a better overall understanding, because that's definitely a pretty big weakness, I would say. When did you start playing League?
a year ago, I think.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good. Have you also played? Have you like played another game before then, like a MOBA, or is this your first MOBA?
This is my first, yeah.
Okay, that's pretty impressive, honestly. Being able to reach Emerald then in your like second season, for sure. Are you doing the Raptors path?
With the
Okay,
frogs and everything.
yeah. Yeah, the first thing cut out. Are you doing it or not?
Yes, I am.
Okay, okay, good. Well, I'm not sure if it's actually the best one. I've said this a bunch of times. Like, there's so many things I'm a little bit unsure about with the gameplay, because there are people that are like quite a bit higher elo than me, and they're not doing the Raptors path. They're just full clearing. But I still believe it's a pretty good thing to do, and there are also a lot of good echoes that do it as well, or like in general junglers. So yeah, last question, I guess. Are you using any jungle timer app?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. All right, I'm gonna share my screen really quick, and we can look at your OPGG. Tell me when you can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So I guess one thing that I noticed is like your kills are very high, which is actually really good. Of course, you started playing in bronze, right? So like some of these stats might be inflated, like compared to when you would be playing in your normal elo. For sure, it's much easier in like lower elo games to have these like really high kills. But at the same time, your devs are also quite high. Like it shows me that you play aggressive, which I think is very good, especially just for improving and whatever. But you also either you don't know your limits well, which is like one part of it, and then you just told me you just don't even know sometimes what abilities do. So I'm sure that's also a reason why
I
your deaths are higher.
I know what abilities do, I just don't know the CD on it. So
That's also
like,
part of not
yeah.
not knowing what they do. Like not being able to fully play around them if you don't know their cooldowns is also like obviously yeah sure you might know what the abilities do, but of course to be able to perfectly play around stuff you also need to know like the cooldown and this kind of stuff and like the damage. You definitely, of course, it's not as bad as not knowing at all what's gonna happen, but still, it's part of it, and that for sure has some part in your high defs. And then maybe just like I don't know, either what you told me with the autopiloting, just like going for bad plays where you maybe know that they're bad, or just yeah, like either mechanical problems. We will see, I guess. We'll probably see where the real problem lies. And then I guess you started playing with the Electric Cube before you were playing Dark Harvest.
I
Mm.
played with Electrocute even before, then I just
Oh, okay.
swapped to Dark Harvest to like try it out, but then I
Yeah.
switched back to Electrocute.
So what do you feel? What has felt better for you? Actually, I'm curious.
I played mainly Dark Harvest because I couldn't last hit kills,
Yeah.
so I wanted to get kills. Like there were games where I had like 0-8, and I had like
Mm-hmm.
8 assists and like supers stole my kills, and that was
Yeah.
really annoying. So I played Dark Harvest so I can get the kills.
But
But
which
then
one
I
feels better? Yeah.
Electrocute for
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I will also have to try and play with that again. I mean, yeah, I'm also trying to learn meta maybe, but yeah, whatever. Like I'll probably even take a break now, but it's interesting to hear for sure. Because I think with the last hitting, that's also like one of the biggest reasons. But even with Dark Harvest, you can sometimes have games where you don't get a lot of kills. It's just like sometimes you're unlucky, and I don't think that should be the biggest reason to take Dark Harvest. I think the bigger reason for me personally is to just like increase your carry potential, but I don't know if it does that because it also feels like it loses you a bunch of games just by the fact that you're kind of missing a rune when you're not able to stack it early. Okay, yeah, I think item building wise, whenever there's no real problems. I guess you always go blue smite or.
Recently, I tried to go Red Smite as well in some
Mm-hmm.
games, but yeah,
Okay.
not
Yeah, I think that's
quite
fine.
sure
I think for
why.
your elo, like just pick whatever smite you want, anyways. And I think like even I said even like in you can even reach Grandmaster building blue smite every single game, so it's really not that big of a deal. Okay, yeah, let's look at your League of Grabs because this is definitely interesting. I just looked at it a little bit. This is what I said, right? You're playing really aggressive, which is of course really nice. I guess the farm, that's probably the thing that's gonna help you the most in reaching diamond. Just increasing this a little bit. It doesn't have to be too much higher, honestly. It really doesn't because again, you can reach Grandmaster with this kind of CS. You actually can, but of course, the people that do it, they're also really good at Ekko. They've been playing for a long time, and they're probably just gonna be able to play with a little bit less gold and like outplay more mechanical stuff and whatever. So they can get away with not farming that much. So I think this just like increasing this a little bit, just making the decision to farm a bit more oftentimes is probably gonna be like the easiest way for you to improve your rank. Like it should be at least. But I'm definitely curious to see just where you're at mechanically in this kind of stuff because it looks like fighting is for sure your strength. Also, this duels win rate is pretty good. Like you win most of the duels that you pick, for sure, not bad. So this also, seems like you're also active early, which is definitely nice to see. Like this gold grab is looking good, and like even this minions advantage thing is looking good. Even though your farm is not that insane, and these also really good actually. First item purchase, very nice to see, even above average for master. Very nice. Yeah, like no problems here. I think like if you just keep playing, you should honestly just be climbing. Of course, as I said, I think some of these stats might be a little bit inflated because you started in bronze, So you played against players that were like much worse than you, and you've obviously been climbing really quickly, so they definitely were much worse than you. But still shows me that you at least go for these plays in general. It already says you're like bad vision and whatever. Sure, this is not the most important stuff, but it's such an easy thing to improve, Like I know, like good echoes say all the time, I don't buy control wars, blah blah blah. Like, but just buy one like in a game, but buy it after you get your mythic or whatever, and it's definitely not gonna hurt those 75 gold spent. And like just place it at a point where it has good value. It's gonna stand for a long time usually, and then it might save your mid laner every now and then or whatever. It's definitely quite a small thing. It's probably not gonna really have an impact on your climbing ability, but it is something that League of Graphs is telling us that is a weakness of yours. So I guess, do you know where you would ward and whatever?
Yeah, sometimes I like even forgot to get Oracle and then I ward, but then I forget to get Oracle again and I ward again and again. That
Yeah,
happens.
I guess Sweeper I also like to get. I like to get it after my first item. I don't know. I think in the early game it's good to have wards, just for like safety, I guess, and especially in some matchups. But the sweeper is definitely very important as a jungler, just to know that if you're being spotted when you're pathing somewhere or whatever. This is also good. Just seeing this, like, obviously, again, not the most important, but just shows that you're like communicating with your team what you're doing. Because most of the time when I coach people, they have it like way below average here, and it's definitely like this is definitely an underrated part. I would even say of like your success as a player. I think in higher elos, people definitely ping a lot because it just communication makes a difference. It really does. And then yeah, also you don't seem to be someone that surrenders way too much or anything like that. It's also good to see. It seems like when you get the 2 kills early, you actually are able to snowball it as well. This is definitely interesting to see as well, though. Your win rate when the game is like at 40 minutes, you seem to lose a lot of games. Do you feel like it's because you make really big mistakes, or like what's the problem here? Why do you think this looks like this?
I feel like it's because there is like a champion which scales better than me, let's say Osol and Orange Soul, and I just cannot do anything against the champion. Like
There's
I
no
just
way that this impact is like this graph is like
yeah
this
yeah.
just because of one champion that you face every now and then.
That's one, and the second one is I just lose focus, start to throw, and
Hmm.
like I die, and it's 40 seconds or 50, and we just lose the
Yeah.
game of that die of
I
that
think
champion.
that's a much bigger because there's actually not many champions that outscale Echo. I mean, Aurelion Sol, maybe you can say he outscales Echo, but not in the way that you automatically lose. You know, you can still have good impact. And also, Aurelion Sol is really weak at the moment, so like yeah, he used to be a problem when he was really meta, and then the games were for sure difficult. But it's like there's actually really not many champions in the game that actually outscale Echo, I would say. And with Echo, you can still always have impact, right? You can always pick off squishy targets and whatever if there are any, which there are in most games. And then like you can be basically completely separated from the other carries, especially in these lower elos where people just make a lot of mistakes with their positioning and whatever. Okay, I guess you can just go in game and like we'll take a look at it, and then I will probably let you play your game most of the time. Just write down stuff and we'll go over it afterwards. That's fine with you?
First screen, not the game, right?
Hmm?
I need to share my
Yeah, yeah,
screen.
yeah. Okay. So what do you usually ban? Can you
I
hear me?
used to like
Ah, okay.
yeah yeah. You didn't hear what I said.
Ah, yeah, no, I didn't.
I usually ban Rengar like 90%.
Ranger. Okay.
I used to ban like G4 when it was like really meta, last like this patch I think.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized I can play against G4 because a lot of
Yeah,
players pick G4 because it's meta and they can't actually
that's
play it.
so true. Like it actually is so true. Like so many Jackals are just absolute fucking garbage. They really pick the champ because they think they'll get free elo with him, and of course he is quite strong, but he also doesn't counter Echo, you know, like not really. So I think yeah, Rengar is a pretty decent ban. I think in your elo probably not even that important. I think most of the Rengars in Emerald and whatever they can't really play the game either, or like they can't play Rengar. Rengar is not an easy champ. But yeah, if you don't feel like you're struggling against Kha'Zix or anything, I think it's still a fine ban. Honestly, don't know what I would ban in your elo.
I don't see any Kha'Zixes in my games.
Yeah.
Like I have a measure Kha'Zix in all of these games, but I measure Rengar, and that was really
Mm.
bad for because not the Rengar was good or anything. It just he ganked like my bot lane even though was pinging like 100 danger signs and they
Mm.
didn't like do anything. He gets a triple
Classic.
kill and then I do a, like and I get fed and then I do like a full combo, do like 3k damage and then W, and then he just goes away.
Yeah,
And yeah,
the classic. Right. So you want me to just write down notes and stuff, yeah, and then not give you too much active advice during the game. Did you say something again? Because I didn't hear anything.
Yes, I said yes.
Okay. Actually, we just talked about Aurelion. Now you have one. Yeah, I really have not seen that champ ever since he got nerfed to the ground. Not a single time. Let's see his pick rate.
Me neither, actually. I just saw it in a game like recently. Yes.
Funny, like in Emerald, he actually has like a decent win rate, almost 51%. And Master Plus though is 48%. He's just too weak early. Like, I would hate playing with a Aurelion here. I think in your elo, and especially, I think you're better than your elo probably. So you can still just carry the game by yourself. But like in some games, when your mid lane, especially when your mid lane picks a weak early champ, it just makes the game so difficult because they will never be able to help you and stuff.
Also, is like Zombie Ward not better than Able Collection?
No. Why would it be better?
I don't know, it gives the same shot and I saw like in some
But you never, like, you especially for you, like,
yeah,
you're not even
me,
clearing. No, but it's not your job. It's not your job. Like, Ekko is not especially good at clearing wards or anything. He's definitely better at getting kills than clearing wards. Like, for a champ like Pyke, it makes sense, right? He's also building Umbral Glaive, this kind of stuff, but nah, it's really not that good for Ekko. I actually knew, like, a Fizz main, a Fizz mid main. He used to love running, like, this zombie ward, and then, like, his playstyle was just very weird. It was very, like, supportive focused, and now he's actually a Sono support main, funnily enough, but yeah, he used, so, like, you can probably invent some shit like that, but I think Eyeball Collection is just, like, it makes more sense for a champ like Ekko. Like, even in most situations where you could clear a ward, it just is a waste of time. You could just be doing something that's better, you know? Not always, of course, but like you also need to clear like 10 wards. You probably usually in most games don't clear 10 wards, but you usually get 10 kill participations. Like clearing 10 wards is actually not nothing, especially if you don't have something like Umbral Glaive.
But then it would be like a good pick for Kha'Zix, like it just buys Umbral Ward.
Yeah, I guess Kha'Zix could take it. But he also likes Eyeball Collection, right? Like, yeah, but maybe, yeah, of course there is also the utility of the actual zombie ward standing there and giving you vision, right? So it's not just the stats. So yeah, it has some value for sure. I think most Kha'Zix still just like playing with Eyeball Collection. And does it actually give the same amount of AP when it's fully stacked?
I think so, but it's not me just inventing this stuff. I just saw it in like Challenger Coaching or something recently. And that's why I'm asking.
For
Because
Ekko?
he said that. No. For like Lilia, I think. Not sure.
Lilia, okay, interesting. Yeah, maybe it's
like,
underrated.
A lot of people don't know, but Zombie Ward is way more broken than Eyeball Collection, and yeah, that's why I'm like asking.
Yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I'm open to that as well. I guess you can also tell me or like show me the video. Maybe I'll take a look at it myself. Very curious. I mean, I can see the effect that the vision, of course, right? If you get the same amount of AP, you just get some extra vision with it. That's not bad at all. But I just feel like it takes too long for me. Like I don't. If I look at my games, I feel like I really don't clear 10 wards during a whole game most of the time. Or if anything, I just clear it like way later than I would have the 10 kill participations. But maybe if you adapt your playstyle to it, it could be fine.
You said that you don't take sweeper till you have your first item. But
Yeah.
where do you place like wards?
I guess it's easier to just show you in the game review. But like it depends. It really depends on the jungle matchup and whatever. Against Kayn, I mean your team warded for you anyways. you could leave a ward to your like right here basically. Nah, like, yeah, there you can place it against level 2 invader champs. Like Kane could do that as well. They usually don't, but you could do that. But especially against Jarvan, Kindred, these kind of champs, they're the ones where I like placing the award there. But Kane could even late invade you at your Raptor, so in some like you could have even left a ward for you here, just like next to your red, basically. See if he late invades you. I actually like the way you use your F keys. It's like it's not super hectic, you know. If you don't get the info, then you just use them, and then
I have it rebinded to my
that's
like,
also good.
so it's like better for me.
Hmm. No, but I mean in general, right? Like I think it's good the way you use it. The fact you just go on the champion, and then if you don't have the info that you want, which is like the enemy HP, usually you just move there. Very good. I think you could have went on him way earlier there as well. By the way, okay, he was not allowed to invade you there.
Beggar. I didn't saw him. Like I only saw him on
Yeah. But I
Armor.
mean, after you spotted him, and you were still kind of not you're just doing the blue instead of just killing him before, you know. That's what I mean, it was fine. It worked out.
Thing I like have trouble with is like, let's say I do this and then I do clear the top side. It's fine now because it's a Mundo or something. I don't want to gank a Mundo, but there are games when it's the opposite, on the opposite side of the map. So like, so then I am patting towards like bot lane to top lane, and it's like on Nasus or something. I really don't want to gank, and then I cannot reserve that problem, and I just pat top side all the time.
I don't know what you exactly mean. What's your problem?
That I don't want to gank the Nasus, and I'm just starting on this side of the map, and then I like clear like this,
Hmm.
and
I know
then
what
I
you mean. And like
and then
I
I
think that's actually something I've also recently been thinking about. Maybe you should just sometimes actually start at the wolves instead of raptors. But at the same time, you can still like. So you mean you don't want to gank top lane, but you feel like you're always pathing there, or what?
because that yeah, because that's the way my camps are spawning.
No, but like right now you're pathing to bot, you know.
Yeah, I this game it's fine.
Mm-hmm. You mean like on red side then?
Yeah,
No, but
I
you
just
can always just choose like either. Now we'll talk about this after, I guess.
okay
You can
okay.
always just choose if you jungle or if you clear it because like really your jungle will still be there afterwards if you just choose to go for a gank first.
No, I didn't use my R.
Yeah, I think you probably just shouldn't have even fought the 3v4 here. Yeah, see, for example, this is why I like having wards. Like, this kind of ward is definitely good. Like, obviously, you know Ken spot here anyways, but still. These kind of wards, when you're doing objectives in the early game, they are for sure more helpful than having a sweeper. Because sweeper in the early game, it usually doesn't give you any valuable information anyways.
on the Vanguard here in the W.
What?
When I threw the W here, I thought I stunned him, and that's why I went on him.
Mm. I don't think you had the damage though, no matter what. And this step really hurts, you know, because you don't like if you had done the rep off, you would have gotten Rocket Belt, or at least you would have been closer to it, and you maybe could have gotten the crab or something for it.
On my Dark Seal. Here,
No, no, no,
right
no,
now.
no, 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 no. Okay, it's way too early. Like, if you ever sell Dark Seal, it's because you're doing really badly, and like you just take the red and recall honestly, or like look to the Drake maybe if it's free, but definitely don't sell it this early. You just still have more than enough chances to stack it here.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah, in the future, I guess I'll just write it down. Definitely place your W earlier. This is what I mean. Look, this Ken is level 6 right now. It's crazy.
Did this.
Place it, place it, place it. Oh my god. You don't need to place it so close to the mid lane. It will still walk there.
Going to die to Kane.
What?
I felt like this guy surely dies to
Oh, yeah.
Kane.
I mean, the Ken is not doing very well here. Oh,
That actually Flash did something. Always you miss my will this game.
I mean, these are the kind of decisions that are like that can make games difficult, right, or lose your games even. Overcommitting
Run
there.
away.
If the Ash is trolling, you don't need to die for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because obviously it was quite bad, and like maybe you could have outplayed it even, but overall, see, like your jungle is also up the whole time, so like the consistent play would 100% have been to just go back to your jungle.
Fresh. Chill.
Can I ask you already, like, why don't you give a fuck about crabs? I've like noticed this. Not a single crab you ever like contest or like even value at all.
I don't
It's
know,
like it's
honestly.
like a third of a kill, you know? It's like 100 gold is as much as any other camp, and it's a camp that is only available to one jungler, you know?
Again, these wills are so bad.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like
Like
it feels like
you usually need those,
yeah,
but
you didn't have to ult there, you know? Like you wanted to make the cute play, the cool looking play, but it was not the right play anyways. Even if you hit the ult, could have just like smited the Kayle and she would have died probably. Or, like auto attacked her once more.
I wait for this like 10 gold.
Yeah, 100%. That's another thing I actually wrote down. I mean, there were also two situations already this game where you could have just waited like 10 gold for an amp tome, but instead you're just like left base with 400 something gold. Like if you need to wait 10, even like 20, even like 30 gold, depending on where you need to be on the map, you can just do that. And for like a full item completion, like Lichbane 100%. For an amp tome, of course, you're not gonna wait as long as just 20 AP, but like Lichbane is a big power spike, of course.
Going to die.
That was your Panta. Why did you flash out? Oh no. I think you could have gotten that. Like, you could have killed them all. They were so low. We'll see in the replay. I'm pretty sure you could have done a lot there.
No way. It was way too early.
Yeah. It was a rough situation. You also had very low cooldown on your ult, but I think if you had waited for ult, they probably would have gotten it already. Like, maybe you could have stalled though, right? Like, maybe you could have went over there and then tried to steal it and just dodge like the Shen E or whatever, and then could have gotten ult up. I'm not
They
sure.
usually don't expect this to come from here.
Mm.
They don't know it's a thing, or I don't know.
I mean, it wasn't even about expecting it, right? You were just in the pit and then you got hit by a Shen E and stuff, so...
Yeah.
By a Veigar W as well. And Drake was still at like 5k HP when you were over there. As you said yourself, it was just a bit too early.
Or try to like see the tempo they are like getting it, and if it's fast, then I just try to go in early.
Wow. I guess Veigar are. Yeah, it's like, if you're so close to him that you have basically no time to react.
Another thing I forgot to mention, which I have trouble against, is like ADCs like Vayne, who can just go invisible, or like Samira W or something like that. When they can just
I mean, Samira W shouldn't give you too much trouble. You just need to play around it, right? Like, you really just need to play differently. Just like don't throw your Q while you're Qing on her oftentimes, because you just know that
I
she will press W at some point, so just like expect it. But with
yeah, like
Vayne, I think the biggest problem here is the fact that she's able to build Wit's End, so I don't even think she should have been your main target in that fight. I think it would have been better if you just focused down like the Veigar first or something, and then you just try to kill the Vayne together. Of course, you can't ignore her completely, but if you just take someone out really quickly out of the fight, and then you also don't take the Veigar ult, for example, you at least have time to ult yourself and this
have
kind of
like trouble
stuff.
against this Kai'Sa, like she can
Mm.
just go invisible again, and
I mean, what's your trouble though? You know that these champs
like
can do it.
yeah,
Yeah, if you had a wave, you could probably end, but you don't, so I guess just Nash. Okay, so like, why did you not spend your gold here? You still have like 800, you could have at least bought an Amtom. That's for sure noticeable that you just don't spend your gold.
maybe.
You could have, even if you could have not bought the Blasting one, just buy the Amtom. Like, you really just need to get into the habit of spending your gold as much as possible. Always, always, always. There's zero
I
reason
also
to ever hold gold like
like
that.
I had a game where I had like I don't know, I had like 2.5k gold. I bought Rabadons and then I could have bought this, but then I just left base with like almost 2k golds.
Yeah, that's like, you never ever want to do that.
Yeah,
Trust me.
I just don't pay attention.
Yeah,
But
definitely
that
start.
I don't want to buy the item. I just focus on I can buy Rabadons, I can then I base, I buy Rabadons and then leave. That's the main reason.
Definitely start paying more attention. It will help you. And it's such a simple thing to do as well. Can you press tab really quick? I mean, I guess, yeah. Okay, Vayne is building MR. Yeah, I think going for white stuff is fine here. If they were genuinely not building any MR, you could also just go Nashers.
That's like another thing, like when my dark seed is like 0 stacks and I'm not like powerful, I don't have like a big impact on the game. I don't know what to buy as like a sixth item. Because I don't
Just
want to buy like
Nashers or something.
0 stacks.
Just like Nashers, or maybe sometimes if you want a defensive item, buy like Banshees or Zhonya's. Like in this game, for example, I think Zhonya's would be fine. Like it's good against Kayn ult to just like dodge the damage of that. Like blue Kayn ult deals massive damage, so when he ults you, you just Zhonya's and you don't take that damage. And then also you can maybe use it sometimes to dodge Veigar ult, which can of course also save you. So in this game, I would even say that's decent value compared to most games.
Veigar is very fed.
At this point, you don't care about who's fed or whatever. It's 30-minute game. Everyone's strong.
I'm just going to get ulted now. he using?
Just yeah, but if you're at least range, you should be able to react. You know, just when he's in your face, then it's gonna be difficult. Like, please go for end here. Don't think what the fuck is this one even doing? They're all dead for the next 30 seconds. You can just end. Just make sure not to int the cane for no reason. Just focus the tower. Just focus the tower. Have W as well the whole time.
Like,
Please tell me
please,
auto
bro.
attacks. But like you really just had to place your W. Yes, this guy trolled, but it was still your fault because you could have just placed your W the whole time and then you easily do 1 or 2 more auto attacks. Zero reason to hold it there. I think even after I said, like, it was already late when I said it, that you can play, but I think even if you do it, then it would probably have saved you still.
I don't think that this is correct, that an ADC can solo Drake like in a second.
No, I think it's fine at this point. It's a 35-minute game. They shouldn't be able to do that with Nash, but like Drake is not supposed to be an objective that's really difficult to take or anything. I think she probably can't even solo Nash, that's like the problematic thing. If she has life still at least. Okay.
This was a very bad game.
Yeah, it was, but at least like you can learn a lot of it. Like I wouldn't even say very bad game, but it was definitely a game where you didn't have too much impact, if we're being honest, especially in the early game. And then
Like, I felt like even though if I tried, I couldn't have done a lot. Like, whenever I tried to like gank bot lane, my bot lane was dead.
no, I think you could have done way more for sure, but yeah, like you just didn't. It's fine. That's what, of course, the coaching is for, right? Like even if you maybe feel like you're usually playing better and whatever, it's not about that. I'm sure there's a lot of mistakes that, like especially with like spending gold and this kind of stuff. I'm sure you always do, right? Even in games where you maybe play better. So like this kind of stuff is already important to learn. And then in this specific game, of course, we'll see that there's a bunch of situations where, yeah, you just had like the wrong decision making or something. And then also, like, what I noticed is that in the very beginning, you're really looking at the lanes a lot, like before your first base. But then after that, it dropped off a lot. You know, like you really stopped looking at lanes in many situations where you really had to look at lanes. So let me share my screen really quick. Do you have the skin here, or why do you have the icon?
Yeah, I have the skin.
Crazy. Did you pull it? Or do you buy it? Crazy. I've seen it a bunch of times. Feels like people have been getting it. Like there's a bunch of people that have gotten it.
I just got a message from like an old friend, a very old friend, who I didn't even play with. When like we were playing another game, and then he's told me that he's playing League, and then he just sent me a picture that he got it from the first capsule.
Damn. Wait, I didn't even see it was fucking Grasp Kale. Wow.
Yeah, it was like,
Interesting.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, let's be honest, like this honestly is not the easiest game to play for Ekko. It really isn't. Like Kale is a fine champion. You can abuse her early, and like it's also she's kind of trolling, of course, with her runes here. But she is annoying to deal with in the late game with her ult, especially. Like then, okay, this Kane went for blue Kane, even though he has the red Kane runes for some reason. Like I don't know why he did that, but yeah, Kane of course also not the easiest champ, especially red Kane in my opinion. And then yeah, Veigar of course he can really limit you with his cage and whatever, and then Vayne can build wits and Chen can be really annoying. So I can't fault you too much for not like completely popping off in this game, but there were still a lot of situations where you could have done more. And especially the thing as I wrote down is like the crabs. You left so many crabs for no reason. Like, we will see, like, the first grab already you should have just taken.
First grab, yeah, I left it.
I don't know why. Like, yes, the first grab is worth less, but it's such a quick thing to take, and it's still like 80 gold or something, so like it's really not nothing. So yeah, here up until this point everything fine. The Kane, for some reason he thinks he can invade you. Very bad timing by him, and this is the kind of things why I like the Raptors path, because all the time when people go for these stupid invades, they just get punished for it, right? And this is where you just like instantly, yeah, I think you place your W here. It's fine. I think I personally would have placed it more towards you. You probably still don't hit him, but like now I think you just need to follow him. You just need to already like get your W and like see, this guy is hardcore disrespecting. EQ him now, like EQ him now, proc your passive, and then kite him away. And the reason why you need to do that is just so the passive cooldown even starts, you know? Because in the early game especially, you don't one-shot people. So, but your passive is still like some of the most damage. Like in the early game, it's actually not even your most damage, but it's still a big part of your damage. Like it's equal to Q damage, it's equal to E damage, a bit more than E. So it's definitely part of your kit, right? You really want to proc that. So you want to proc it as quickly as possible here. And then just like kite out a bit, maybe wait for your cooldowns, depending on how low he gets here. And then just go in again. But like, see, like you're just ignoring him for such a long time. I guess, yeah, you want the like blue buff, which is fine. This is good, at least you get it. But if you don't get it, it's kind of a coin flip here, right? Because if you don't get it, then he will get the healing, and then he might even win against you here. And the whole time, in my opinion, you could have just attacked him, especially because, as you can see, your Aurelion is already roaming. Your Mundo, if he has a minimap, he could also be roaming to you much quicker here. So like this guy is in your jungle, so you just have the upper hand with the laners. Like you should have the upper hand. And then at least he was actually in a position to not let the Kayn escape. So this is like nice. You even get the kill here. Like now you should be in a good position, right? So but you still didn't manage to really snowball the game. And then here, like take the crap. Like take the crap before you start doing. Like, what's your reasoning for not taking it here? It's like it could not be more free. The enemy jungle is literally dead. Right? And it doesn't fuck up your pathing or anything like that. If you take it, like, if you want to take it before here. Or take it after, like, just take it at some point.
I wasn't, like, thinking of taking it, like, I don't know, I wanted to gank, like, top here. I don't know, but then I started Grump, and after I didn't want it to take it, since it will mess with my, camp respawn.
Yeah, so what you can do is, like, you can either take it before, which what you should have done anyways, or you just do these two camps, and then you can still take it. The important thing is to always, it's not even that important, you know, like, but the optimal thing to do is usually to just clear a whole quadrant like this, and then you can look to either gank or like clear here, or like get the crab. I mean, and then you just still go back to these camps, and they will like the important thing is really to just clear these two small camps in a timing that's somewhat close to each other, so they respawn in that way again. Like you could have easily still after clearing the wolves, because at this point we know that Kayn is not gonna go to this side. Like he won't. Why would he? He just came from here. He just cleared this. So like we even knew that he had red buff if we paid attention. So we can assume we cannot even just assume. We know that this guy cleared this whole side here. We also know that he had 12 CS the last time we saw him. So he has zero reason to walk to this crap. So you should, like, at this point after clearing this, you should still just go here and get it. Like, it's still an extra camp, you know? Yes, the first camp, it gives less XP, but it's still an extra camp. It's like almost a third of a kill. So it's definitely not nothing. And then you can still just, like, first of all, this might give you the position to, like, look, you could have maybe even killed top again here or something, right? Or just went mid, maybe, after that, after being here. And, like, that's definitely more impact than just clearing your jungle. I feel like in this game, maybe because I told you beforehand that like clearing is something that you need to improve on, maybe that's why you focus a bit more than you would usually on like jungling or something. But like in this game, you definitely made the decision to jungle way too often. And sometimes I'm sure it was influenced by the fact that you didn't look at the lanes enough. Like at this point, I'm pretty sure in game you really didn't look bot here. Because if you see this on bot, you should look to go there now. I think now you maybe looked there. But it's like you could have already made the decision before even starting to jungle. And that's the best thing you can do. Like, what the fuck is wrong with the screen now? We're in Mordekaiser ult? What? There's not even a Mordekaiser in game. Weird. Like, see, you can, if you look bot now, like, the point where you need to decide what you want to do is usually at these, like, entrances, I guess. You know? Like, here you just decide, am I gonna jungle or am I gonna go straight bot here? Because if you go and, like, clear this and then decide to go bot, it's just kind of awkward for your pathing. Like, you can still do that sometimes if a really, really high percent opportunity arises. And you see it, But like best, in my opinion, it is best to just go straight there and then just go back to jungling, you know? And like you, in my opinion, if you look at this, you could definitely make the decision to go there. Like for sure, you could make the decision. They're kind of low here. You see that they're also pushing at the moment, right? They're auto attacking the wave and whatever. And if this is not warded, then you can easily gank there. Like 100%. And now you're just kind of committed to jungling here, you know? Because like, yes, you can still interrupt your pathing, as I said, but it's just worse. Like, what is wrong with the screen? What is it? Ah, it's like Pike W. We're in Pike W the whole time. Nice. Why? Let me restart really quick. Yeah, it is. I'm pretty sure it's like this is how it looks for Pike when he's in W, you know? The like darkness and whatever. Yeah, let me just.
I mean, is he in W still?
Nah, I don't know. Like sometimes it just bugs in the replay. Sometimes it also looks like you're in like Mordekaiser ult or something. I don't even know how it happened. I wasn't looking at Pike, but it's just a weird bug. It really is. Okay, why are we still in Pike W? What? Ah, fuck it. Like it's gonna.
I was like around before I started the Krogs. I was looking at bot lane, but
exactly. But you were already committed, kind of. Yeah. And that's the problem, because you imagine you're just bot here, you know? This is not even warded. And even if it is warded, if they're so overextended, you still have a Pike and whatever, you can probably punish them. Especially because, I don't know if your team pinged it, but like, okay, why? Like nothing working. Sorry. I don't know why it's so fucking weird. If your team even pinged that they maybe don't have sums there, right? Then another big reason to go there even. So, like, if you had just made the decision to go there before, then you would have for sure made a much bigger impact on this game. Okay. I don't Okay, I have no clue what is wrong with this replay. Fuck it, like, so weird.
Like invisible, if you look at me. Like C2, my champion.
He's invisible? Nah.
No, before like 2 seconds ago.
I don't know why it's like whenever I go to that like part in the replay.
Can you like jump like 30 seconds and 30 minutes and see if it's bugged?
No, it's not. Okay. I don't know, but that's so weird. I've never had that. I've never seen that. Yeah, so yeah, but as I said like 20 times already, just make the decision to go here before, and then like you just need to realize that this is a good opportunity, especially with the wave set and whatever. And now, like, at this point, I probably wouldn't have even went for this, because if this Vayne is not a retard, then she just respects you being here, or like the possibility of you being here, and doesn't even recall here, you know, and she just goes under her tower, and you're just wasting your time by even looking for this. And then here, I think, like, if anything, try to steal the crap, but you don't have smite, so there's no real opportunity to steal it even. So I think with this HP, and the fact that he has an extra longsword at this point, I don't think you should be looking to fight him here. Not really, unless you see your team moving. Yeah, but they're not moving, you know, that's the thing. Like, if you ping for help and they actually move, then, like, sure, go for it. But, like, if that doesn't happen, then you need to just accept the fact that your team is not willing to play with you. And then the Vayne even still dies for some reason. And then here also, like, yeah, so you were, like, kind of not respecting the Kayn. Obviously, you know that Kayn can walk through walls, right? I'm sure you're aware of that. Like, just realize that this is a risky recall, and you could just invest those 5 more seconds to walk here, and then you don't have to flash. Like, it was also kind of lucky to the fact that you even lived. He was just kind of slow with his W and everything. So, like, just respect him more here. No reason to be so disrespectful to him. And then here, yeah, this is the first time I wrote down, like, just wait for your Amp Tom gold. See. Let's see how much gold you have. See, this is 20 gold that you would have to wait for the Amp Tom. 20 gold for 20 extra AP. And your camps are not even up yet, you know? Like, there's no reason to not just wait 20 gold here. Like, really no reason. So, like, just wait them in the future. Yes, like, boots are also a fine buy, but, like, buy them if you only have 300 something gold. But you're so close to the Amp Tom here, just wait for it. And, like, especially if this crap would have been cleared, then you literally would not have anything to be here for. Like, the biggest reason, I guess, for leaving base here is if you actually want to go top now. But like, that's not even what you do, you know? And I think in-game, I think you looked here, but it felt like you didn't even consider going there for some reason. I think you can definitely look to go top here. Sure, she's level 6, she does have her ult, but still, like, and now she doesn't even have ult anymore. Like, now is where you really need to go there. Like, even though it's warded, you can still go for a dive, in my opinion. Although, it might be risky, actually, because Ken is here. And you're not level 6, of course. But still, like, pressure this guy, in my opinion. Like, just pressure him. And a nice trick you can do if you assume that this... Like, you can usually assume that this is warded if she's been pushing, right? Like, most top laners will leave a ward here. So, like, just go E over here. Like, even E over here if you're confident with that. But, like, just E over here. Wait for your E to come up again. Like, I even usually, if I do this, I like to ping it to my laners. And then just walk in from behind and, like, you'll 100% get her here. So it's like it's definitely a bit of a commitment most of the time, and if you get caught by Kane, it can be awkward, but at this point it's also not like you're gonna instantly die just because you meet Kane here, you know? And like, this guy was so clueless anyways. For example, what he's doing completely wrong here in my opinion is just starting at Raptors. He should be starting at Crux and just like pathing down. But that's also why you were able to be like 2 levels ahead of him. In the early game at least. I mean, he gets the solo kill anyways because I guess Kale misplayed something, but you didn't even really consider going there, and I think that's already a mistake. And then here, I think, wait. Yeah, here also, you were doing crap. I think you were talking to me, you were saying something, but you didn't even look mid, right? We saw Shen move, and then you didn't really look mid. You definitely need to look mid here. Like, just see if there's something you can do. I don't think there is, but you still need to even look there and get the info. And that's what I was saying, right? Like, in the early game, you're really checking all the lanes, whatever, but, like, after that, it really dropped off. And in the mid game, you often just didn't check the lanes at all anymore. I don't know if that's how you usually play, or if it was maybe just because you're a little bit unfocused or nervous or something, but definitely in this game, it was for sure a problem. And then here, yeah, here you need to check mid. Like, I think you need to def this, because your Aurelion is still quite far away, and it's just a nice bonus. And it's kind of the same, right? Like, before you commit to jungling here, just take the wave, and then you can still jungle, you know? Like, see this as, like, segments of gameplay. Just, like, clearing these quadrants should be, like, a thing, and then afterwards, like, these entrances should just signal to you, now I need to make a new decision of what I want to do. Like, here, make the decision to clear this, and then you can make the decision to just go back and jungle afterwards. Like, you don't need to clear the camps right as they spawn. You really don't. Then here, like, yeah, look bot, like, here, I would even probably... No, okay, I mean, you don't help here anyways, but again, I'm pretty sure in-game you really didn't look bot here. Yeah, and then I already told you in-game, I don't think you should be looking to fight a 3v4 here. Like, why would you fight a 3v4? Especially Aurelion is quite a weak early champ. And like, yeah, I don't know. It's just a 3v4, of course, and sure, the Shen is kind of low, but... he's still there, he's still able to be really annoying with his W and stuff. And also, the way you play this is for sure, like, way too aggressive. You should never walk in like this alone. Especially not against a champ like Vayne that can just push you against the wall here, you know? Like, you really need to have awareness of this kind of stuff. Wait, let's see. Like, maybe you could have played this better, let's see. And then it would have even been okay to go for the 3v4. So, I mean, Shen is low, so it's kind of a 3v3. And I guess Vayne also already used ult. Ah no, she doesn't even have level 6, never mind. You actually have the level advantage on the Kayn, so that's something you have going for you, but... Yeah, this W was just, yeah, it was completely wasted, I guess. You just didn't have any value from your W. Like, either make the decision to go for a steal here, or make the decision to fight them, right? And the W means, like, you want to steal. But the way you position yourself here means you want to fight. Because, like, if you want to steal, just stand behind the wall, right? Don't walk around here for no reason. So, like, yeah, this W placement was just what instantly lost you the fight. And then, of course, also just like, no reason to walk into his range. Like, absolutely no reason to take this Q from Veigar. Like, 0. You could have probably even done something if you just focus on the Vayne right away here. I'm sure you could have actually won that. Yeah, like,
if I walk him from like the top side of the pit, then it would be better. No?
Maybe, like, depends. I guess not really. I think in this situation it would have actually been better to just focus the Vayne. Right, I think the Vayne is making a big mistake by walking into you here. But at the same time she's walking in, you just place your W here instead of just somewhere here where you will fight the Vayne. and so like you're not really able to punish her. And then it takes too long for you to react to her, making that misstep. Right? Like now you instantly just need to engage on her. Place your W here, and engage on her with the pike together. I'm sure you kill her, or like you get her stuff. And then instead, like I guess you're just too tunnel visioned on this here, but like this W is not even gonna achieve much in my opinion. And the Drake is also not low here, so it's like you don't even want to really go in there. You really don't. And this guy would have instantly died if you also did proc your passive here. Like he really would have. Your pike is quite strong at this point, right? He has a shutdown, he has his serrated dirk and stuff. So for sure, if you just have better focus here and kill the Vayne, then I'm pretty sure you can actually win the 3v4. The Aurelian was also coming from top, he has his ult and everything. So this is definitely playable, it was just like the focus was not good. And then you just tanked everything because you walked after the Vayne. And in this situation, I think you also definitely should have had the reactions to ult. Like, this was not a difficult Veigar ult to react to. It was quite telegraphed, right? Like, he hits everything here and then it flies the whole way. And you don't even die to that, you died to the Shen E, but... Yeah, it was just a bit of a chaotic fight, I guess, and you just didn't use your ult. Here, I think it's good that you go for the Herald to trade the objectives, right? They're still fighting here, so... And like, this Kayn is trolling also the whole time, right? He's still level 5. Like, what he's doing here is so ridiculous. He has a bunch of unspent gold as well. If you have like good awareness, you could have even went for the invade before Herald. Honestly, like, at this point, since he's been on bot side so long, you should be able to assume that this is up. Like, you really could assume that. But getting the Herald, of course, is the safe play anyways, so it's not really a mistake. It's just, you could have pushed your advantages more here for sure. And like, one thing I like to do is just like check this camp, you know? Checking this camp is not a big commitment. Just like, you need to walk up until here or something, which is not very deep. And then you will see if there's a small Raptor up, and then you can just get it really. Like, Ekko is very good at taking Raptor's camp, of course. Yeah, and then here, like what I wrote down, like after this you decide to just coin flip top. Like, I don't know, there were so many good opportunities in this game, and this is not one of them in my opinion, going for top here. Like, why is, like, maybe explain to me, like, why you think this is such a good opportunity. Sure, like the wave is pushing in, but she's full HP, she has ult up, everything. Like, and now you make the decision to randomly go top, and it could even be warded. It's not even that unlikely that it's warded at this point. This is just such a coin flip decision, in my opinion. Not even in my opinion, it is a coin flip decision, you know? Like, going top, you're sure, like, it could work, but it's still it's a big commitment. And here, for example, what you didn't do is just clearing your whole quadrant, so... if anything, make that decision either before starting to clear or after clearing. Of course, after clearing, you're gonna be quite far away, but... Like, this is just... I mean, we'll see, right? This is not a very good play. It's not a very high percentage play. And if this Kayn wasn't trolling as hard as he was, and he was not still level 5 for whatever reason, like, you probably would have gotten punished here as well. Like, even the Shen is level 6 at this point. And then, yeah, again, you just try to go for another one of those cute ults that is, like, you need to stop going for them. Like, they're just... Like, go for ults when you actually can hit them, but... Okay, I don't even want to say you need to stop going for them, because I think it's good if you're looking to use your ult aggressively. It is good, but like in this situation, it's just really not a high percentage play. And like also because especially because if you expect that the Shen actually comes through, which is luckily for you he doesn't. But like imagine the Shen actually comes through, right? Then you're here and he's just gonna E you, and like you're gonna be taunted under the tower, and it's like absolutely horrible. So you really, in these situations, you really just don't want to ult back. And what you could have done is just like, let's see. Probably could have just waited for your cooldowns to come up again. Like, first of all, one thing, again, also just smiter here. You smite slows, right? It slows by what? 20%. So that will also help your Mundo to maybe catch up or like hit a Q or something like that, you know? Just slow her now, like smite her now. There's no reason not to smite her. Yeah, if this Kayn isn't trolling and he's level 6, then I'm pretty sure he just kills you here. No, he should just kill you. He would kill you. Like, that was just very lucky of you that you were playing against such a bad jungler. And you're 1k goal. I don't even know what this guy was doing. I think it was just, yeah, like, he didn't even get the Drake. Like, he wasted so much time trying to commit for the Drake, and then that punished him really, really hard, of course. Not even getting it. Then here, you really need to look bot right away. Like, yes, you're kind of low, so you can't commit too hard anyways. But I think in-game it also took you a little bit too long to look bot here. At least you did look bot there in the end. And then yeah, this is where you die as well. I guess you told me you thought that you stunned Vega, but even if you would have stunned him, you wouldn't have killed him, right? Like, you see how little damage you dealt to him. You have a bunch of unspent gold. At this point, you're just not in a position to one-shot people. And this guy also has this item which makes him a little bit tanky. So like, see you like used your E on the Vayne, which is some part of your damage, of course, at this point. Then you missed your Q, and like even if you hit all of this stuff, you will probably get him to half HP, but that's not nearly enough to ever kill him. So you should already not even make the decision to hard commit on him. If anything, commit on the Vayne because she's much deeper and she's also squishier. So this was just like a bad judgment, I guess. And this is like the kind of reasons why you have high deaths, right? Because you go for these plays where you just... But it's always, like, I'm not flaming you for this at all or anything. It's like super excusable because it's like your second season playing League, right? Like, so much of this stuff, it will automatically just get better by getting more experience. Like, this is more than normal. It is your second season, right? You said you started last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like...
Season.
Yeah, so it's like, it's really more than normal that you just need to make a lot of these, like, you even need to make these mistakes to even learn from them, and it's like, fine. And as I said, I think it's generally good that you even play aggressive, because that's the best way to make these mistakes and actually learn from them. Just like, make sure that you really learn from them. For example, I guess in this game, there were, like, you died to Veigar ult, like, 3 times or something. So you should already, in my opinion, be able to learn in-game that you need to respect it more. Like, you definitely could have respected it more after the first time. Like, just make sure you actually have the ability to learn. And then here, I wrote down, like, definitely place your W. There's no reason not to place your W before going over there. I think that's also something I'm going to write as, like, a general note. I think your W placement, you just, like, place your W in every fight. There are a bunch of fights, like, also in the end here, for example, like, just... see your W as a big part of your kit. It's a 22-second cooldown, you know? And the reason it's so high is because it's such a good spell. So, like, and you're actively choosing to fight most of, or like a lot of your fights without it for no reason. Like, that causes a lot of your deaths as well. I'm more than certain now that after seeing how you play it with it, like, you really need to use your W. And in this situation, you really need to use your W just before going over there. There's no reason, like, you really want that shield. Yeah, sure, like, you didn't get punished for it here, and like, I think you could have even, like, kept going on this guy, or like, tried to keep going, maybe bait him into something. Of course, you just used your E. And then another thing, like, don't even use your E, you have the plant available here. Literally just W, use plant, and then you can also escape with your E in case you need to, right? And in this case, you could have even killed him if you had your E available. So yeah, a lot of ways this could have turned out even better. If you had your E available, you just kill him. He's so weak. And this guy, the fact that he was even able to kind of play this game in the end is so crazy. And like, kill him here. Like, kill him here. Why would you E away? See, like, the Veigar is here, but like, the Veigar used his E, and like, what is he gonna do? He's not gonna one-shot you. You can dodge his Q, you can dodge his W, and then he has no damage. Like, you proc your passive, you have tons of movement speed. Your Aurelion is already moving. Your bot lane has like full pressure here as well. So you really just need to understand that you don't need to give a fuck about the Veigar here. The only thing you need to that's slightly scary about Veigar is his cage, which he already placed here, right? So he'll have another one in 17 seconds, but that's like, so he won't have another one basically when you're fighting here. Like, there's no way they CC or anything. So like, just kill this guy. Just kill him. He's like, the passive proc might not kill him completely, and he might even ult you and stuff, but like, at that point your team probably moved. And also you have ult available here, so you're kind of safe. And this is a way where you could have, this is a moment where you could have easily pushed your advantages as well. Even though your stats are not looking good, like, you're still so ahead on you're still 1k gold ahead, even though your stats don't look great. Just because of like how hard this guy was actually trolling. And then you let him get away with it, right? You could have punished him here, and then if you have really good awareness, you maybe even bait his top set, and then he just wants to probably rage quit the game. Yeah, here I think maybe you could look to dive, for example. Pretty sure you could look to die. I get. Never mind. You had to place your Herald here. It was like almost expiring. But still, like now you can still look to do something here. And your bot lane was in a really decent position. At least the Pyke was doing well. Yeah, like if you were around here, maybe you can clean them up with a Pyke together. But at the same time, it was also the situation where you didn't have the rocket belt, and you had like you were missing 100 gold. So I think taking the base here for the rocket belt is generally good. I think you want to get it as quick as possible every time, and like that's one of your strengths, I guess, right? We saw in the League of Graphs, your rocket belt completion time is pretty good, or like your first item completion time is generally pretty good. So seems like that's something you value, but other times it's kind of weird how you don't spend your gold, I have to say. Yeah, again here I think. Wait. Yeah, here, you just like buy another Amp Tome. Like, why are you not buying another Amp Tome? Yeah, again, you could have just waited 10 gold. 10 gold is like, what, 5 seconds or something? Or 7 seconds? So you just wait that you have 20 extra AP, it might make the difference in the next fight, you know? And it also helps you clear a little bit faster, of course. Like, at this point, from like 150 AP, increasing that by 20 extra AP is... percentage-wise, that's really not nothing. Like, it's definitely a big thing. And in general, you just really don't want to leave your base with any gold if possible. That's a mindset thing you really need to get into. And it's such a simple thing as well, of course, where you really just need to right-click in the fucking shop. So I'm sure you will be able to do that. I guess there is like a very small reason why you would want to hold your gold, and it's to get the Sorks, which you're allowed to get on the next buy at least. But like, I think you should still always spend your gold. Like, you should easily be able to stay on the map for enough gold to get the Sorks anyways. I think here you should definitely just be looking bot and try to dive them. So what you're doing? No. Is it? Ah, they're already... Okay, like, here I guess ping for your team so they don't let them base. Ah, they killed the Vayne on their own, I guess. But ping for them to not let their Shen base, I guess, so you can at least kill this guy then. So, yeah, just like, the Ashe could have easily walked up here and W'd him or something. Because now they're kind of just making you waste your time, right? You're just standing here and there's nothing for you to do. And at this point we also saw on a Blitz, like we saw this camp coming up in like 10 seconds, I think take it, you know? You have full control here and it's something you're taking away from him. So why wouldn't you? You're not really pressured to go base. Like sure you have a nice power spike with the Sorks and whatever, but you could have had another Amp Tome again, I think, if you have the extra camp here. Would you? Yeah, you would have. You would have had another. See, like now you're missing basically exactly 100 gold that you would have had from that Grump that's coming up in a few seconds here. See, like now it's coming up. So, like, or even take both of these camps anyways. Like, you could have taken this camp first and then the Grump. It's just a nice thing that you're taking away. It's basically almost a kill that you're taking away from the Kayn. And the Kayn is already doing so bad, like, it would have completely bullied him out of the game, basically. And the only reason you want to recall as fast as possible is so you can contest Herald. Like, that's, like, the biggest reason. So it's not like a 100% correct call, I guess, but like, I think you could have just taken those camps, and you probably still would have been able to be there. And then another ult, right? Like, your ults, you said it yourself, right? Your ults were pretty bad this game. You're trying so many offensive ults, but like, in most of these situations, it was just offensive ults that you shouldn't even be looking for, you know? Because even if you ult him here, like, first of all, he has his E, which exactly what happened. Of course, he used his E and then he dodged it. So that's an awareness that you could have that you're just missing here, which is excusable. But like, even if you hit him here, like, this guy is still full HP, you're not gonna kill him, and if he doesn't E for some reason, or he had used his E somewhere else already, then he's in 4 people and he's gonna die even without your ult, so there's just no reason to waste your ult like that, especially because now you want to contest the Herald, and now it would be much better to have your ult up, of course, when you have to fight here. Definitely, yeah, now it definitely hurts, like, you're half HP here, you're kind of vulnerable without ult. And like, you should never get stunned like that, like really never, of course. Just like walking into a Veigar cage, just respect it. There's like, is really not good. If this Kayn had not, he had his like abilities up here, you probably die even. If he has W and Q here for you, then it's like a massive mistake and it's like super avoidable. I mean, this kind of stuff, it just kills you. And again, right, like, there were so many Shenies that you got hit by. Sheni is a spell you really should not get hit by often as Ekko. And a big thing for that is, like, in this situation, it's the way you start this fight. Because you E in, see? First thing is you E in. You never start fights like that as Ekko. Basically never. You need to Q first, like, throw your Q, let it apply the stacks, and then, like, proc them with your E. So you get the movement speed to run out. Like, that's a big thing for your gameplay, I think. I mean, I've not noticed it in too many other situations. Now that I think about it, I have not really, like, looked out for it. But, like, in this situation, it's super apparent. Like, the way you start this fight is just completely wrong. You really, like, you just step into range where you can throw a Q, let it apply the stacks. If possible, you get the return Q as well, of course. And then you just E in and just kill them. Like, this is a wrong Ekko playstyle that you're doing here. Like, just going in there and, like, this is super, super risky. And if you were playing in higher elo, you would get punished for this kind of stuff way more often. Now here, this is what I like about you, like the fact that you go for these, like you go for these aggressive plays. You're not too scared to go for them. You're limit testing. This is definitely risky. Of course, this guy is quite healthy here, but it's good that you go for it because you can actually kill him, and you see that you can kill him. He didn't even misplay that much. It was, of course, still super close, but it was good. And then also, I think it's good that you keep jungling here. Like, camps heal you so much, so it's good. You don't want to go base all the time. Then it also gives you the herald. Definitely, like, try to get the last hits. I don't know, I don't like when my liners get the last, like, just, yeah. I mean, obviously, I guess you try to get it, but yeah, maybe make more sure of it. But this is not a mistake or anything. And at this point, you're already doing quite well again. See, like, Riot is telling you you're doing well, you have a shutdown. You're 2k gold up, and like, this guy was such a criminal, honestly.
There's no way somebody's that no.
Hmm?
He must have been auto kill that.
Yeah, I don't know. This guy, like, he also with this rune setup as well, right? Like, he had the, like, Conqueror usually means red cane, and then he still went for blue cane. Yeah, and like this as well. Like, the Revitalize, for example, you want to take as red cane because you're about healing and whatever, but yeah, this is it. And you can see he has not stacked his Conqueror a single time because that's not how a blue cane plays. Like, he doesn't play long fights, he plays short fights where he pokes with his W and whatever, so this guy was just really griefing. Definitely a big reason of why you were still able to win this game so easily, even though you didn't have the most impact. Yeah, this is where you kind of threw the game a little bit, right? Because you just overcommitted on this guy. Like, not you personally, but I mean you also, because you also committed. I don't know, this Ashe... This guy is like the lowest priority target in the game at the moment, right? He's just like... He's such an inter, so fletching for him here and ghosting and everything, it's just not good. And then again, right, like in this fight your W is just missing again. Yeah, like, see, you're using everything except for... Why are you not using it? Like, that's such a big thing. Like, you're just not using your W. You need to use it, like, now you need to use it here, or like at the point where the cane turns, like now you need to use it here, because what you should be expecting to happen is either the cane ults or the Pyke hits him with the Q and throws him here, so you want to have your W here anyways. So like, the big thing missing in this fight is just your W. I think with your W you win it, probably. Like, see, imagine you just have it here, your team might also play around better, and then you can just do something. And now you're just in an awkward position. You have not used your most important basic spell, and yeah, this could have turned out so much better if you had just clicked W. So this is like 100% the biggest reason for your high deaths, actually. Like, after looking at the gameplay, like this, and of course also going for bad plays, but it's like it goes hand in hand, honestly, because a lot of the plays are just bad because you're not using your W. And then here also what I wrote down, quite important in my opinion. I think you need to start from bot side here. You want to start clearing from bot side. You don't want to be on bot side. Like, you don't want to clear down and then end up on bot side. Why would you want that? And like, the second biggest reason is just your red buff is always up and already up, and your blue buff is still coming up in like 45 seconds. So just clear there, and then by the time you're there, it's gonna be there. Because see what happens now? Is that you're clearing your top side, and then like it still comes up somewhat. Like, you could wait here, but like, why would you do that if you could have just cleared there and then it would have just been up naturally, you know? So like, now you just leave it up, and then again, you also don't go for the crab. This is the time. This is the time. Like, when you are at this spot, make the decision. Like, go for crap and then go back to jungle. It's just an extra camp that you could have taken like 3 times in this game or something already, and you just didn't do the thing. It's literally a kill already that you're just leaving on the map, just with this camp. And it's also a kill that you're taking away from the Kayn, of course. But this Kayn was just as clueless, basically, and he also just didn't prioritize anything. Like, this guy was really, he must have actually been auto-filled. Like, even for Emerald, this is like pretty bad, the way he jungles. And then here I think you also need to, like, there's a bunch of situations, especially in the mid to late game, where you just had to play with your team more. Just be with your team here. Like, you win this. At this point, just fight here and then you win this. I mean, now you group up with them, but it's just a little bit late, you know? If you would have been here earlier, you probably could have picked off the Kayn. So, for example, if you had made the decision to, see, if we go back here. Oops, this is too far. If at this entrance you would have made the decision to just jungle, or like do the crap here, probably would have also come to the conclusion that you could run mid here. And like, this is also where it really dropped off for you to like look at lanes. You really just didn't look enough what was going on the map at this point. You're just so focused on like clearing jungle and doing that somewhat efficiently, but it really cost you a lot of impact in the game. Like, if you had just made the decision to go here, then you probably could have made the follow-up decision to just group up with your team here and help them. Even invade him here, maybe, even that would have been better as well. Instead of just, like, because this jungle will be available to you afterwards as well. Like, especially in a game state like this where you're quite ahead, there's no way the Kayn will invade you ever. So just don't value your own jungle too much at like 20 minutes at this point. Like, sure, do clear it if it's like nothing better to do, but there is something better to do here for sure. Like, grouping up here. Like, imagine you place your W here somewhere, whatever. Just help your team. You just kill them all. Probably can even do Nash after that. They even get the Veigar without you. Like, just you missing here is definitely a problem. And it happened a bunch more later as well, where you just should have been with your team. Yeah, and here, like, just like, stay out of the auto attack range from her, and stay out of the Shen ult range. Like, or the Shen when he comes out, right? You don't want to get eat by him. But don't kite so far away that you have to ult back, you know? Like, just stay here. Just stay here, and like, you have your E and Q up in 2-3 seconds, like, and you're full HP as well, basically. Or you're so healthy here as well. Like, going for these ults is just bad, you know? And now you actually get punished for it, right? You could have easily played this just normally without your ult. Just stay out of the Kayn's range, re-engage when your abilities are up in a second. When the Shen shield is gone, and you win this fight 100%, you know? Because then you still have ult available. Right? You still have ult available for when something happens and you're low. Like, these kind of ults, you did them so many... You already did it like the 3rd time in 20 minutes, so... I assume that is something you go for oftentimes as well in your other games. And it's not just this game, so... Definitely try to get better with that. Like, yes, take aggressive ults if they're actually good, but in this way, or like in this fight, it was like you wanted to ult just for it to like look cool, I guess, and that's not the way to play around it. And also, it was just not a high percentage ult either. Like, why would they stay in there if they have some amount of awareness? They never get hit by a random ult like that. They just walk past you, like, they're not CC'd or anything. Like, how would you ever hit that if they're not stupid? So yeah, pretty big mistake, and it actually got punished here as well, right? Like, I'm sure oftentimes it might not even get punished. Let me see if you spend your gold here. Yeah, and here you asked me even, like, should you wait for the Lich Bane? Of course, like, Lich Bane is your 2nd item. It's a massive, massive power spike, and all you had to wait is 10 gold. I think you can wait up to 50 gold for a full item. If there's genuinely nothing you have to do. Like, sure, if there's a Drake coming up or whatever, you don't want to wait 50 gold, but like, in this situation, 100% wait the 10 gold. And as I said, like, even wait up to 30 gold easily. For a full item, easily 30 gold, and like for amp tomes and whatever, definitely 10 to 20 gold. And always just take into account how much, or like how important it is for you to be somewhere. And like, you need to be careful, right? Like, you really, after minute 20, you need to be so careful with being bot side for too long. Like, at this point, after we see this, you need to already start moving. Like, now you need to start moving top. Because you see that your team's dying, and that they already did Nash before. Like, just understand how easy it is for teams to do Nash. If you already would have started moving now, you would have been there. See, you're wasting like another 10 seconds here. You had to just move right away, move right over there, and then you probably could have just killed them. And then you even had the opportunity to kill them, right? I told you in game as well. See how low they are here. You get a nice free kill here on this guy. Then you get pushed against the wall. See, you have fucking passive stacks applied to all of them. Oh my, and this is so juicy, you know. This is actually so juicy. And then you see, like, you ult now. You're almost full HP. And you have your rocket belt available, so like rocket belt, auto attack, Vayne dead. Like auto attack another time, Shen dead. They're all in 1 HP. You literally pentakill them here. But instead you flash out, and you also have the flash to just reach one of them if you need to. Like that was literally a pentakill, and instead you flashed out. Like that's where I would have definitely liked to see more aggression from you. And then here you even lose Drake as well after that. Like after that, they definitely kind of turned the game. You're still 5k gold ahead, but still. Yeah, and then here it was just too early, you know. Like yes, you needed the W to spot like the HP anyways. Cool. Now we can't even see the HP in the replay anymore. Amazing, right? But yeah, it's still at like 5k HP here. You never want to go over at 5k. And a nice trick you can do actually, like a much better way of stealing the objectives. On Nash you can always do it. If they don't like zone you away, but on Drake you can only do it if they don't pull it out. Throw your Q over, like just throw your Q over, let it apply the stacks, and then at like 2000 HP or something, you just go over, E auto attack, right, proc your passive and smite at the same time. Like nobody can outsmite that. And it's much better than going over now and like doing all of this super telegraphed, you know. And you even like throw yourself in there as well. Like how long was your ult cooldown as well? Let's see. It was still 12 seconds. That's kind of unfortunate. Like, maybe you could have stalled it. I don't know. It's definitely, yeah, definitely a little bit unfortunate at the time. You probably wouldn't have gotten ult up, but at least you could have gotten the Drake. Like, now you're definitely kind of through your position. I mean, you're still up on the Kayn, but you're not really up on anyone else. I mean, Kayle is also doing horribly, but the Vayne is definitely stronger than you, and the Veigar is also in a position to fight you for sure. Yeah, here, like, why are you going for the 1v1 on Kayn? I think that's such an ego play. It's not even super valuable to kill him here, you know? Like, even if you get him, which it should never be easy to kill a Kayn here. Like, he should always be able to just escape, if anything, you know, in these kind of situations, because you can't really hard CC him or anything, and he's literally full HP here, so, like, it's very low percent that you kill him. And I mean, you don't. And then you also don't prioritize getting into your W. Why don't you? Like, you really need that shield for fighting, especially in these like 1v1s. The only reason this is even remotely allowed is because of this guy being so behind, you know, only because he's 1000 gold behind. And then you can see, right, he just escapes, and you basically just wasted your time. And here also I wrote down, like, go to your team. Your team is trying to push you, and they're actually achieving it as well. But, like, if you're also there, then you probably can end, like, if you kill them. So just, like, here, these are the situations where I assume that it happens sometimes as well in your games, where you just don't group up with your team when you need to. Because it used to be the same for me, where I just, like, would farm my jungle camps or whatever, when, like, in reality you really just need to group with your team here and then jungle afterwards. And like oftentimes you can even invade during that time. Like after retreating with your team, you just take the jungle on the way out, and then you either see if you can buy something already, or if you can't, then you just clear your own jungle. In these game sets, you really need to understand that your jungle is safe anyways, so just like try taking enemy jungle away more, or try taking, or just like try having more impact as well. So I mean, at this point you actually start going for the invade, but you just should have done that earlier. You shouldn't have even fought the Kayn. There was just a waste of time. Okay, at least not now you go for invades, so that's definitely good. Then yeah, here I don't even know what you're really looking for. Like, you're not gonna kill them. You're not in a position to really kill them. on your own here. So just like play with your team. There's no reason to ego here and go for solo plays. There really is not. Again, W. Just W is missing. The only reason you died here. That's such a big thing. That's like such a massive thing. I'll put some exclamation points behind the notes here. That's your like biggest thing to just work on, and it's gonna make such a difference. Trust me. It's not even something to work on. Just like place your W. Like place your W here. There's so many. Yes, it's on 2 seconds cooldown. So like just wait the 2 seconds. You know. It's like there's so many reasons you wanted to. You would have probably stunned them. And like another thing you need to think about the fact is like if the W is here, you know, and even if you don't stun them, it means that they had to move. So during the time that they have to move, it means they can't attack. So it's like it's such a powerful spell because of that. And you probably would have stunned some of them here. I'm more than certain you would have stunned them. And of course, if you have the shield, you just don't die. It's as simple as that. Like such a massive mistake. I didn't even really notice in game, but like it's such a massive mistake. And it's not the first time either that it happened this game. And I assume it's not like a rare occurrence for you. You probably don't use it that often, or like you often don't use it when you need to use it, and that's why you have like 6 average deaths. But that's like gonna be an instant boost for your elo. I'm assuming it should be. And then here, like you're also too passive. Like play with your team here. Don't let them do all the work. You literally didn't even get a kill participation for the first 2 kills here. But your team was clearly still able to fight, right? Because they got the kill. So just like move with your team here. Place a nice W for them. Like, your W is okay. I mean, you placed it here. Like you shouldn't have. You should have just like moved with your team. Place a nice W here where all the stuff is happening. Especially because look, the Aurelion will stun them. So your W has a much higher chance of stunning the like just chain CCing them basically here. Like, you could have followed up in that so well. You know, your team got like the first 2 kills and you didn't, like the first 3 kills, you didn't even do anything. So then you got the, like, Vayne, and yeah, as I said, like, if you had any waves here, somewhere that are like pushed, you could have for sure went for end, but you didn't, so you really had to just do Drake, or like Nash, I guess, which is fine. You'll still be able to end after that, of course. And then here, like, don't even jungle anymore, honestly. Like, really just move with your team. When they want to move, just move with them. Yeah, I don't know, like, your Ashe should never die top, of course. Like, see, like, don't even, like, get this on the way back. Get all this on the way back after you have, like, either pushed and, like, were forced to retreat or, yeah, like, just, like, push with your team, play with them. In this late game, you're really just playing way too ego, honestly. And then here, I mean, at least here you used the W, but, well, you didn't proc it. See, like, that's the second thing. Sometimes you even place it, but then you don't prioritize procking it. You need to proc it. Like, the shield is so fucking big. It's 1,100 damage. Look at your HP. You have 2,500. It's literally gonna increase your HP by 30%. Yeah, value that. Like, it's part of Ekko's kit for a reason, you know? Ekko is a very squishy champ. He needs the shield to fight in the late game. He really does need the shield. Like, he really does. And that's such a big thing. That's just completely missing. If you had, like, just... None of these steps would... Like, none of the past, I think, 4 deaths would have happened if you had just used your W correctly, or at all. Yeah, and honestly, like, I feel like you're kind of lucky here that they're not winning the fights at this point. I feel like the enemies could for sure be in a position to start winning fights, but I don't know. I guess they just, like, the Kayn was not there. The Kayle is trolling with her build and whatever. So yeah, she only has 2 items at 33 minutes. It's not like she will be strong then. And like now you should just, like, you should know that you can end, and I even just ping your team to help you as well. So yeah, as I told you in game as well, already, just like ignore the Kayn here, and then I've said this like 20 times already because I'm still gonna say it because it's so important. Like, place your W. Imagine you just placed your W. You stun them both probably here. You could have done 5 more auto attacks probably if you had used your W. So like this game did not have to not end here. But of course, at least they didn't give you any real trouble. You're still able to just end. But yeah. Do you have any questions?
So my biggest weakness is my W.
100%. Like that's definitely your biggest weakness. That should be super easy to improve. You know, because it's literally just one spell that you need to get into the habit of using, and if you just put in the like active effort in your head to start using it more frequently, then it won't be difficult. And like you will notice how much better the fights will go if you just use it. It's definitely the biggest reason for your high def games. I'm more than certain of it now. Like sure, there's some like decision making mistakes, whatever, but like that's not the reason why you have 9 defs in a lot of your games. You know, like you will have so many more games where you just have really good stats if you start using your W. Because like even in games where you have high kills, like if we look through this, there's so usually you still have like quite high defs, and it's like these kind of games that they should be more common. If you feel like you're playing well and whatever. Like, there's a lot of things you're doing right, but like the W thing is definitely something like a big thing you're doing wrong. Then like the second biggest thing I guess is just like it's not even a big thing, but like prioritize the crabs is another really easy thing that you can improve on. And then like also spending your gold, spend as much gold. Like, just understand that you want to leave the base with as little gold as possible. As simple as that. So like if you can buy an Amptom or whatever, if you have to wait 10 gold for it, just do it. You know, and then I guess. Another thing is just like try to not make the same mistakes too many times in game, right? Like it feels like a lot of your stuff is really a lot of your mistakes come from ego. Like it really does feel like that because like you're just not respecting things even though you should have already been able to learn from them, like dying to the Veigar ult 3 times in a row and then not using your W as well there. It's just like I'm not saying ego in a way where it's like you're a piece of shit or whatever, but like ego in a way where you're just not respecting when you could be respecting, right? So I guess that's like a thing. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Do you feel like you're playing better than your current elo?
I don't know. If the current elo was this game, then definitely.
Mm.
But there were games when I got gabbed like very
Mhm.
hard, but then there are games when I gab the enemy jungle really hard, so it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah. I think as soon as you apply some of the things I told you, it's for sure like very reasonable to say that you're playing better. In this game, you definitely made a lot of mistakes. It really didn't have a lot of impact, but it is also not the average game. Really, if you look through your matches, you have some better games for sure. But yeah, I think there are a lot of things that you do better than the elo you're playing in for sure. But also some things like just not playing around enemy abilities, not playing around like your own abilities, even not even your W and whatever. So yeah, I guess that's a big thing as well. Just like try to actively play around abilities in the game. Like really try to actively think when you're fighting a Kayn. Just like actively, like basically have some kind of analysis going on in your head where you're just thinking about all the stuff that he could be doing. I know it's gonna be difficult, especially when you just like have never played the champ or whatever. But that's the best way to make the right decisions when fighting and whatever. And that's the best way you're also gonna just become better. You know, just like really trying to actively think when you're fighting and this kind of stuff. You have any other questions?
Is my damage enough when I'm like really popping off? So like there is a game like where I was 19-5 and I had quite a lot of damage there, but there are games where I only do like 20k damage even though I'm like 11-1. Like
I mean, if you win the game, it's enough. And like, yeah, there's the one thing with Ekko is like when you're really fat, you sometimes just one tap people, right? Like this game, for example, you had really good stats, but you're probably in a position where you just one tap people. So then you also are not farming a lot of damage. So it's like fine, you know, that's not a problem. As long as you get the kills, that's really not a problem, and not something you should worry about anyways. So like, yeah, just worry about like if you feel like you've had impact, and if you like this game, okay, yeah, you definitely didn't have too much damage. But again, it could really just be due to the fact that you were quite fat here and you were able to one-shot a lot of people. I don't know, like hard to tell, of course, just from OPGG. But yeah, this is not the kind of stuff that you really should be worrying about too much. And this is honestly like a little bit underlining the thing what I was saying about ego. You know, the fact that you even care about this. Like this is not something you should be caring about. It really isn't.
Like it's not the number itself, it's the how much am I doing?
Hmm.
Like if I'm not doing like anything, like then of course and I can have a very nice stat if I only care about having a nice stat. Like for
Hmm.
example, I can go 13 or 1 if I really want to, but then how much am I doing actually? So like
It's impossible to tell from PGG. You know,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
it's like in general, as I said, I think stats and whatever is not something you should be caring about too much. It's only gonna hold you back. I think you should care about trying to have an impact that's gonna get you closer to winning the game, and that's also something you were definitely in this game. I don't know if you always do this, but in this game, like when in the late game, you're just oftentimes not grouping up with your team. Like you need to group up with your team and help them have an impact to win the game. And I used to be exactly like that. I used to get flamed so much for that as well, and like rightfully so. Like nowadays, the way I think about it, like you really need to just group up your team, even if you think that it's the wrong call. Oftentimes, you really still need to group up with them because the wrong calls can still be like outplayed, I guess, if you're just there, especially if you're in a good position to carry, you know. So even if you think, and also sometimes you might think it's the wrong call when it's actually the right call. So just like it's often the best thing to just group up with your team in solo queue and just make sure that they are not dying because they're in a 5v4, you know, or like 4v5. That will win you a lot more games, trust me. Just like not dropping your team, even if you think it's the wrong call. Any other questions or?
I have two more questions,
Mhm.
like kind of like the same question, but I'm been duo queuing recently, and the reason is that is not because I like get myself carried or anything, but I like a consistent teammate who I can gank,
Mhm.
and I know that they won't throw the game because it happened a lot to me. Like I've been ganking Alin 3 times. I've been giving them the kill not on purpose, but they've been getting the kill, and they're after like they're 3-1, and they don't base and they just give away the shutdown and to
Mhm.
Darius or something, and it's like over.
Okay, but what's your question?
Is it okay to like so what can I do if I gank Alin like this, make them fed, and then they just in the game?
When you're
But
not doing, I mean, yeah, like
uh
nothing. It's out of your control. Just like
yeah,
try to make your such a difference yourself that like you can like just make the difference, you know, even when they make mistakes. Just focus on yourself, you know. Like I also struggle with that sometimes when you have a lot of bad games in a row or whatever, you just start focusing on your teammates way more because you get tilted and whatever. But like in reality, you probably should just look at yourself every single time. And if you lose the game, then you should look at yourself and think to yourself, I just didn't carry hard enough. Even if it might not be the truth, like some games you just really can't win. It is what it is. But just like the healthiest mindset is to think that you should have done more. And like in reality, especially in your elo, you probably could always do more. Like you really could. There's so many things you probably are not punishing or whatever, or you're just not looking there when you should be looking somewhere. So yeah, and also one thing I need to say, like, or I need to ask you, like, are you having fun playing League?
recently, yeah, I've been having fun.
Okay, like because you really understand that it's a fucking game, you know, like you're playing it to have fun. So if you want to duo with someone, like, don't feel bad about it. If that's more fun for you, just like duo with them. Sure, like why wouldn't you duo with them? It's not like you. I assume you're probably not looking to become a pro player. I don't know, like maybe you are, but like even then you should probably still be having fun with the game. So it's like really like understand that, and like that's also why you shouldn't care too much about ranks and this kind of stuff because it usually just takes the fun away at some point. Like of course maybe right now you're having fun because you're also winning quite a lot and this kind of stuff. Your win rate is decently positive, so it feels good. But then there might come a time where you just have a loss streak or you're just consistently losing more than you're winning, and then if you're not enjoying the game at all, then it just takes away the fun. And like, I mean, at that point, you often just need to take a break or something. But yeah, I'm just saying this, right? Like the mindset behind playing the game seems like for you it's a little bit. I don't even want to say too try hard. Of course, like if you enjoy trying hard and whatever, then that's also good, for sure. But like the question that you asked me, like, and I guess you didn't ask me if you should be doing, right? You just asked like, what can you do if someone ins? But realistically, the answer to that is just like not much. But like also don't overreact to it, right? Like don't even focus on that. I guess that's a big thing. Like don't even focus on people inting because it will always happen. It will happen in any elo. You will never have an elo where people don't int. Like literally in Challenger, people will int because someone always has to make mistakes. Otherwise, the games wouldn't even end. You know. And like just really make sure not to overreact to that kind of stuff. And don't even focus on it at all, in my opinion. And as I said, if you enjoy duoing, then like duo. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Okay, what's your last question?
What can I do if I cannot access my jungle? Because my
Right to
tools are
go
down
somewhere
or
else. Yeah, try to go somewhere else. Like oftentimes, especially in your elo, I assume that you can probably even just trade the jungle. And then like it's a very like difficult question to answer generally, you know, because there's so many variables. Like sometimes the right thing is maybe to just ping for your team to move. Sometimes it's the right thing to just like fight them on your own. Maybe sometimes you really just need to give it up. But it's like you can't answer that generally. Like you really can't. And if you really can't access your jungle, or you feel like you can't, then like usually that means the game is already in a pretty bad state. So like in those things, in those situations, just try to look for ways to get back into the game. And like the best way is usually to like it usually is to just get shutdowns, you know, from people. And like if you're in a position where you really can't get your jungle, then it usually is also a game where people will have shutdowns. So just try to look for the easiest to kill target, like an ADC or whatever. When they have a shutdown, try to focus on getting that. And yeah, and if nothing like that is available, then as I said, just go on the other side of the map. Try to either invade even if you feel like you have a good timing for that, or just make a gank happen or something. Or like just try to make something happen. But yeah, sometimes it's gonna be difficult for sure. Like if some games you really just get bullied by the whole team and whatever, they start moving in your jungle, and it is what it is, right? Like the best thing you can do is just try to not get tilted and go next, basically. As I said, like there's this like saying with like 30% of games are like insta lose, 30% of games are like insta won, and 40% of the games you just need to be the one making the difference yourself. You know, and that these 40% are obviously the important games where you're gonna either climb or not climb if you're able to make the difference there. Just accept like some games are gonna be lost by draft, they're gonna be lost by people massively underperforming or like massively overperforming by the on the enemy team. But there's also gonna be games where like the enemies are gonna be massively underperforming. So in general it usually balances out. It really does. Like sometimes you might hit like a bad streak of maybe having a lot of really bad teammates in a row, and then you just feel like really tilted and whatever. But in reality, oftentimes I think it's also just like the state that you're in. You just start seeing things more negatively, and you start playing worse yourself. At least that's how it is for me. I don't know. It's something I've noticed. So yeah, in a nutshell, I guess all of this, what I am trying to tell you is just like focus on yourself. Like really just focus on yourself. That's like the best advice overall. For sure. Alright. So if you don't have any more questions, I will give you the notes, I guess, that I wrote down and whatever, and then I will also upload the session unlisted on YouTube, so you can just take a look at it again.